There we go.
All right, now we're rocking and rolling.
Hey,
Hey, technology takes time sometimes. It definitely.
I, I'm computer illiterate, if you can believe it or not.
That's okay. We all have those days. Trust me. Well, first of all, thank you for joining us this morning. I know you have an exciting weekend on deck at Pocono Raceway, and appreciate you spending some time with us. As you go into this weekend, tell us just a little bit about kind of where your thoughts are and kind of what you're going to look forward to most, and then in the race on Saturday.
Oh boy. Well, it's a little surreal in the fact that to think that I've got 800 starts. Uh, it's not a lot of people have accomplished that, and to make that milestone means a lot. It really does. I look at it as the longevity I've had in the sport. Um, it's hard to imagine. When I started doing this, didn't really know what I was going to be doing. I just thought I'd be working on race cars and building them, and to be able to, what is it, 35, 38 years later, whatever it is, to be able to have this kind of career, it's pretty cool. It's very lucky, very fortunate to be able to earn a living in something that I love to do.
Absolutely. And of those 800 starts, I know that you probably have a lot of memories around those, but are there a few that stick out that you, kind of hold close to home, so to speak, when it comes to looking back over your career? Which, I mean, there's lots we could talk about for sure, but I think, are there some that just mean, extra to you?
Well, you're right, Amanda. I mean, there's so many, after all these years. A lot of good moments, some bad moments, and everything in between. There's two that probably stand out the most, and that's the very first Busch race in Michigan. There's 11 Cup drivers entered in the race, and they didn't give us Busch guys any chance to win the race. And we went out and we won the race, and the next 11 drivers were the Cup drivers. So we beat them at their own game. And that was pretty. At that moment, I was only 2 years into my career, so that was very gratifying to be able to beat those guys. And the one that really stands out in the Truck Series in Atlanta, Mark Martin's got us beat. We're going to finish second and go down into one, and Mark runs into some lap trucks, and I never lifted and passed him 4 wide coming off of 2 for the lead, and we ended up beating him. So for me, not only that kind of pass and that kind of racing, but to be able to beat Mark Martin, who has really been one of my heroes my whole life, my whole career. He always helped me get, when I got started, he was the guy I could go to for advice and for help, and to be able to beat him was a very special night.
All right, we're going to go to questions, and I believe Bob Pockers has a question. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Todd, is there going to be a 801 start, or is this it?
You're about the 800th person to have asked me that, Bob. The plan was this is it. As far as being a paid professional driver in any of the series of NASCAR, top 3 series. But I've learned in my life and along the way, and because all the people have asked this question, I'd better not say never. So I think the circumstances have to be very extraordinary to do it. And very fortunate to be with Fox Sports and to have the job that I have, and I love doing it. So I'm not going to do anything that would jeopardize that. I'm fairly confident if I wanted to do 6 more next year that Lindsay would let me do it. So, but right now the plan is no, this is it. It would have to be something pretty incredible to bring me back next year. And maybe something along the line of Barkley's. Did you see Barkley's stuff on Twitter? He's a beauty.
And so with this likely being your last one, do you have any special like guests or people or things that you're going to do in particular, or like special helmets or uniforms or anybody on your crew that you specifically wanted for this race?
Well, we have about, first of all, I got to thank NASCAR for all they've done for us for these 6 races. They've been incredibly accommodating for us. We've had guests at all the races. Las Vegas, we had like 38 guests. And for Pocono, we literally have like 62 people that are going to be in the garage area with us. So it's pretty awesome that they've been that accommodating. And then we've got another 60 or 70 that are going to be in the grandstands. So this is a big deal for us. This is home for my wife, Janet. She knows everybody in the area. We've been friends with everybody. But more than that, Pocono is like a second home for the Bodines. We call Watkins Glen our home racetrack, and it is. It's where we're from. And I really wanted to do this at Watkins Glen, but obviously they took it off the schedule. So it's just fortunate that Pocono lines up where it does in the schedule right before the playoffs. We all grew up here at Pocono. I've been coming here since 1972. I was 8 years old. Came here and watched my brother Jeff race a modified on a 3/4 mile track, and I've been coming here ever since. Changed tires for Brett on pit road on his modified. Finally got the race here in a cup car, and one of my fondest memories of Pocono is going across for driver introduction and getting to shake Doc's hand, and he always welcomed me home and good to see you, part of the family, and Miss Rose, a kiss on the cheek and a big old hug. They always considered the Bodines part of their family, and we've always felt that way. They've always made us feel that way when we come to Pocono. So for me to be doing this at Pocono is just as special as if it was Watkins Glen.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to go to Deb Williams. Go ahead, Deb, with your question for Todd.
Thank you, Amanda. Hey, Todd. It's good seeing you. A couple of questions. One is, with you coming back and racing in the Truck Series this year, what were some of the key adjustments you found you had to make, or how was it different from when you raced in the Truck Series previously?
Well, I tell you what, the trucks themselves really aren't a whole lot different. They have a little more side force, they have a little more downforce, nothing that you're really going to feel. The motors aren't quite as strong as what we used to run because of the Ilmor motors. It's just the way they run them, less horsepower. But the one thing that is very different, it's a topic of headlines a lot these days, and not only in the Truck Series, but in NASCAR, but mainly in the Truck Series. The way these kids race and the lack of respect that they have for one another. It's, watching it over the past 6-8 years on TV and talking about it and analyzing it and commentating, you see it happening and you understand it, and it's been getting worse. But now that I've gotten on the track and experienced it, it's absolutely ridiculous the way these kids race. A lot of people talk about back in the heyday, when us old guys were there with Hornaday and Skinner and Sprague and Musgrave. I mean, all those guys that came there from the Cup Series to wind up our careers and finish our careers there. We raced hard. We did all the same things. We rubbed fenders. We bumped into each other. We did all the same things. The difference is we showed respect doing it. We just didn't take somebody out to pass them. We didn't just run them up out of the groove to pass them. And that's the difference today. These kids just have no respect. And that's really the biggest difference that I found. It's just the way these guys race.
Mm-hmm. What do you think attributes to that?
I think it's generational. I think it's part of the mentality of the generation where, they've been brought up in a disposable society, and along with that becomes you think of things differently. You don't think of the future and where it's going to go, what the consequences are going to be. You think about that moment in time and what you have to do in that moment in time. And unfortunately, these kids don't care. None of them have, I won't say none of them, but I'm going to say 99% of them have never built a race truck, have never worked on a race truck. You know, the guys I mentioned before, Skinner and Hornaday, Sprague and Musgrave, myself, you know, we all built race cars from the ground up when we were kids, and we grew up building. We had to work on our first cars. We had to replace sides if they got bent up. We did all that work. These kids don't do that. They show up with their driving suit, they get in the trucks, and they go race. They don't realize how much work's involved in putting one of these trucks on the track. And I think that's part of it. I think part of it also is I call it the iRacing mentality. You know, if you're wrecked, who cares? Push Control Alt Delete and reset, and you go again. Well, and that works good on a computer, but it doesn't work good on a racetrack. But they still race with that mindset. And I really think, this is my opinion, kind of a little off subject here, but my opinion, we've got to get a hold of this. We've got to get our arms around this and get it under control, not just in the trucks, but in Cup Series as well as Xfinity Series. These guys just have, it's over the top now. The driver's habit mentality has got to get back under control.
And if I may have another question back to Pocono. You mentioned about Doc and Dr. Rose and how they always made you feel like family. When you came here, you said, I believe you were 7 years old for the modified race that Jeff raced in. But they made you feel like family. But what were some other special things or things that you liked about Pocono that you found unique?
Well, as a driver, first, the racetracks, it's a lot of fun as a driver. It really is. And very challenging. You know, 3 different, I mean, I know you guys have all heard this, but 3 different corners, different shapes, different banking, 3 different straightaways. It really lends itself to a driver who can make a difference in his truck or his car and make it go faster. You know, there's all of that, the racing part of it. But, you know, the Pocono Mountains in this Pocono region in Northeast Pennsylvania is just beautiful. Always loved coming up here and just being a part of it. You know, and the fans really, you know, Northeastern race fans are very underrated, I think. They're very passionate. They're very loyal. And growing up here, we've, you know, maybe I'm a little biased, but we've always had a lot of fans that have come out and supported us at Pocono. It didn't really matter what we were in. So it's just part of our family. It's like coming home. You know, this has been our second home for a lot of years.
Thank you, and have a good 800th race.
Thanks, Deb.
All right, we're going to go to one last question here with Chris Knight. Go ahead, Chris, with your questions.
Hey, Todd. I was just wondering what it's been like to be a part of the Helm Freezing family this year.
I'll tell you what, Chris, that's I was actually thinking about this last night a little bit, and I had the question. Somebody asked, what's been one of the best parts about doing this and racing this truck? And the honest answer to that is becoming part of Stuart and Jessica's family. They are such good people. They really are, and they care about everybody. And we've got to go dirt racing with them. We went to Fonda last week and watched Stuart and Jessica race. And you know, just an example, this particular weekend, they put on a chicken barbecue. Started at 1 o'clock before race night, right there at Fonda Fair Speedway. And not the whole town, but a lot of the people in the town came there to support them. They know the barbecue was to support autism. You know, Parker's on the spectrum, and they do all they can to help. And the town came out to support them, and race fans. And what was really neat, it was, you see all these Stuart Freezing t-shirts, but then you saw a lot of race fans with other driver shirts on, and they came out to support them. And you know, Stuart and Jessica are great people, and we stayed at their house on Saturday night after the race, and it's just been really fun getting to know them and getting to be part of their family at the track and away from the track. You know, that's been very a surprise that we didn't expect to have. So that's been really probably the best part of this whole thing.
And I know like every driver wants to go to the track and have a good weekend and contend for the win. But tomorrow, does it matter where you finish, or is it just soaking up the milestone?
Yeah, Chris, I've said this all along, and then I've truly meant it all along. This isn't about winning races. Yeah, we want to go win. That's what we're there for. That's why you unload the truck. That's why these guys work hard. But it's not about winning races. This is about going there, having fun, enjoying what we're doing. When we start doing this as professionals, yeah, we love doing it. We love going in circles and driving the cars and trucks, but it's also a job, and we have to do our job, and there's a lot of pressure that comes with that job. So to be able to come here and not have that kind of pressure, it's made this whole experience just that much better and that much more fun. Like I said earlier, we've had a lot of people, a lot of our friends come to these races to celebrate with us, and this is a celebration for us. This is about enjoying what I've accomplished and the things that I've done in the sport, and all these races that I've run. These 6 races are about enjoying that and celebrating all of that. So we're just out here to have fun. I love to run in the top 10. That's one thing I'll give these truck series drivers. They are tough, man. It's a great series, a lot of competition, and it's hard to run in the top 10. We've been competitive every race, and that's the other thing, just to be competitive, not be running in the back, be up there racing these guys. And we've done that every race. So yeah, we want to win. Be a hell of a way to go out with a mic drop moment like that. But the reality is a good solid top 10 and run all the laps. That's what we need to do and have fun.
Thanks. And thanks for everything you've done.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate your friendship.
All right, Todd, thank you again for spending a solid, let's see here, good 20 minutes with us this morning. We really appreciate it. Wish you the best of luck this weekend as well.
All right. I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys all.
Bye.